Hello, everyone. Welcome to Imaginations Project. I am Zhao, the director of the Electronic Science and Technology Museum, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China in Chengdu, China. Working as the co-chair of the UMAC Futures, that is an organization of emerging scholars from university museums around the world, we started a series of online interviews with emerging scholars since 2019. This year, we have extended the project to all the scholars in university museum community. But now we have interviewed 16 colleagues from 10 countries and to listen to their voice, to follow their imaginations. It is kind of a description and observation of the current image from scholars aiming to re-image and reconstruct the university museum in the new era. For each of us has great imaginations, we believe it brings more hope, energy, and vitality. And for those of who are interested, we invite you to access all the recorded interviews on the YouTube channel and the UMAC website. So, as I have mentioned, the UMAC 2023 was hosted at the Zhao Museum, University of Sydney. And today we have a colleague from South Korea. I met her in Sydney. We talked a lot about university museums because we have similar connections in our both university museums. Today we are delighted to welcome Hwang Nayoung. She has been working as a curator at Hanyang University Museum since 2013. She played a key role in opening Hanyang University's History Museum and has organized exhibitions on various themes every year. She had been the Secretary General of the Korean Association of the University Museums. She will share more stories from university museums in South Korea. So could you please say hello to the audience and give us a brief introduction of yourself and the Hanyang University Museum, Nayoung.
Okay, hello. Thank you for the very nice introduction of me. And my name is Nayoung Hwang, and as I told, I work as a curator at Hanyang University Museum for almost 11 years. And the last 4 years, I working as the main secretary for the Korean Association of University Museums in Korea. And before that, I worked as the curatorial assistant at the National Museum of Korea at the Asia department. Originally, I majored in architecture, and I worked at the field. It is okay? The voice is okay?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, sorry. So I worked for just 2 years after I graduated in undergraduate school for the furniture company in Korea. One of the most, the best furniture company. And then I want to make some more contents, not the hardware. I want to make some kind of software and more cultural contents. So I went back to the graduate school to study the Buddhist art. And I think the Buddhist art is very fascinating because it originated from the India, and it went to the North India and Pakistan and the Southeast Asia and China and Korea and Japan. And I think the change is very interesting. So before I working here, I traveled quite a lot, and I visited China for several times. And I traveled from Beijing to Kashgar by train. So it was fantastic interest. And I think the traveling is a very good experience for the curators because they can see all the cultural things, and you can visit a lot of museums. And also the last September, I visited the Sydney first time and met you and other colleagues, and it was really also a very good experience. But unfortunately, Hanyang University Museum has just very few collections of Buddhist art. So nowadays, I focus more, the scientific and technology and archaeology and other things in these museums. Hanyang University is a private engineering school founded in 1939 during the Japanese occupation of Korea, and our founder is at the time just 25 years old. So he was very ambitious guy. And it was also the first private engineering school in South Korea. And these days it ranked 4th or 5th level, the best university in South Korea. And you know, the Hanyang means is the former name of Seoul. In China, in Hanyang.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah. So we have another, the Seoul National University, which is top university in Korea. So our name is Hanyang, the old name. And after the very, the tremendous development of Korea, after the Korean War, the graduates, the alumni of our university made a very big contributions in the fields such as civil engineering, architect, electronic, and chemical engineering. And so it was said that everywhere there is the Hanyang people in the all the way. So that is one of our presidents said. However, our university established in 1979, but the grand opening is in 2003, officially. So it's just as the exhibition and educational program, we only 20 years. But in Korea, from 1960s and the early 1980s, every university must have a university museums. So it is by a law. So all the university have to build university museums. So that's why our university museums, now it is almost 120 university museums and art museums is now. But after that, these days, last week, I think the New York Times had an article about the depopulation of Korea. It is a big crisis in Korea because our government has only 1.7 baby birth. So after maybe 20 or 30 years later, then the universities got it is a very serious crisis. And I heard it is also in China has a similar problem. So the population is very related with the the universities. So yes, so university museums in Korea, we have a big crisis because they try to emerge the universities, especially national universities these days. So and not in Seoul, the other cities, they lost a lot of students. So in this situation, university museums, they don't care about the university museums, the headquarters and other things, because the university itself is very big in crisis. So yeah, that must be the very big problem in university museums in Korea now. And I want to introduce my museum a little bit more. The Hanyang University Museums, we have a very big archaeological collections because we had been excavation from the 1880s for 4 years. So not only in South Korea, but also we had a excavation in Cambodia, Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom. So we have various collections, and also the paintings and potteries, and also the electronic and collections. So in the mid 20th centuries, the university tried to build industrial technology history museums at another campus at Ansan, but well, the situation changed, so it failed. So we just put all the various, the electronic devices just in the storage for just almost 20 years. So, but these days, I think the electronic, the cultural heritage is much more important these days. So we are trying to make some special exhibitions and education programs these days. So one of the program is that I posted on the Sydney University Museums. So yeah, so one of the most important asset is the Korean first computer is analog calculator made in 1964, made by Professor Lee Nayoung at Hanyang University. And it is also designated as a registered cultural property by the Korean Cultural Heritage Administration. So it's a little bit long, but yeah, this is my introduction of myself and my university.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. And we can realize that actually university museum or museums reflect the history of the local city or the country. Yes, and you have a connection of electronics, so that's why we talk a lot. And for nowadays, the contemporary science and technology heritage become more and more important for us and for our students. And yes, the audience is always like the centered things, centered audience we have to chase. So if the audience decline or increase, we have to think about different methods of approaches to deal with. Yes, and thank you very much for your introduction of yourself and your institution. And let's just move to the first question, the formal question. What is the specific project or program you are working on right now, and why? Thank you.
Yeah, nowadays I'm sorry, busy on working 3 different projects. So one is that you mentioned before that I working as to build the Hanyang University History Museum at 2015. And the History Museum is space that shows the past, present, and future of Hanyang University. It's from the 1939. So, the past and present can be shown through the archives and photographs and some papers and other things collected from the university archives. But the future of university, it is very difficult to show in the exhibition hall. So in 2015, that we introduced the major research achievement of the university professors, especially for the electronics, automobiles, and the robotics and something like that. But it passed only almost 10 years. So the physical objects, it is also gone. It is too old at this time. So it's not good to show the future of Hanyang. So 8 years after its opening, so we want to renovate the whole space into another exhibition hall. And yeah, the renovation project is now ongoing. So we made a big, the LED wall and the digital signage to update the future contents. And we also made the contents. We have to make some videos and some interactive contents. And it is very hard because if it is museum, if we have some object, then we can show it with that. But the future, the UMAC future and also the university future, we can imagine, because at this time, the universities in Korea is changing. They try to change it a lot, their purpose and their role. So how can I imagine after maybe 20 or 30 years, how the university could change it? So yeah, and it is a big project. It is not just for me, but with my director and my other colleagues, we cooking and renovating together. So maybe next year, then I can see how it work or not. It costs quite a lot of money. So the gesture, but with this digital transformation, I expect we can make it more flexible to update the future contents.
Yes.
Every year time.
Yeah, thank you, Nayoung. It reminds me of several points. The first one is that it's always been the most challenging thing for all the museums to present the future. When we prepared, when we were preparing our museum, we have a unit, the last unit to to display the future, and it's our big problem and the most challenging task. So we visited many museums in China, and we didn't find a perfect one. And then we just use a context of video to show it's like to show the the situation in the future with electronics. But we are not satisfied. We were not satisfied with context, and I think many colleagues will agree with this. It's very difficult to display the future. And the second point of my view is that in the ICOM conference last year in Czech Republic, I was there, and there was a presentation from the Future Museum in Saudi, or from where? Abu yes, and they built a museum named the Future Museum. You can check it, and the director just showed some points, their conceptions, and the architecture is like a ring. It's not a complete ring, but it's like a ring, and it's a very characteristics with their culture. So I think you may find some inspiration from that museum. The Future Museum, just named the Future Museum, and the next ICOM conference will go there. Yes.
Yeah, in 2025, right?
Yeah. So that's the second. Yeah, that's the second point. And the third point for our museum is that it's the key point is, what do you want to give? What message do you want to send to the audience? The reality of the future, or just the imagination of the future, or just the direction of the future? So I think it means a lot for the audience to how to lead or how to support them to think about the future, not only to show, oh, this is the future, that is the future. It's not, because it develops so fast, especially with electronics, with semiconductor, in the past 100 years. So if we display this situation, the whole situation of the future, after 5 years or maybe 3 years, it's out of time. So yes, it's just my several points.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to know you that all the curators, not just you and me, and we have same problem to show the future. And I personally, I want to make it more conceptual, not just the current, the development of the electronic or research result, but I want to make more the concept and questions and imaginations about the future for the very young students. But we have a lot of team, and the people want to show the now important professors' achievement. So
the power of the university, or the power of the science and technology. Yes.
Yeah, right. So I'm not sure, because everybody think their own future differently. So imagination, their own imagination with self-stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the information, and I want to visit the future museums.
Museum, yeah. And I think that's why they built the future museum, because it's a key and a most challenging task for all the museums. So they just have this, they just choose this kind of topic to, to display their power. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons for them to build that kind of museum. Yeah, and thank you, Nayoung. And I'm I think it's so fascinating task for you. It's a very fascinating task for work for your museum, and we are looking forward to maybe 2 years or 3 years you will finish the whole project. Okay, yeah. Let's just see. I'm so excited to to see the whole exhibition. Okay, thanks. And let's move to the second question. Because from your introduction, I know that you have worked in the National Museum of Korea, South Korea, right? And a small question is that what's the difference between the National Museum of South Korea and the University Museum, and what's the most unforgettable experience in your career?
Well, you know, as you can imagine, it's a very big difference between the National Museum of Korea. We have 13 branches, different cities, different areas, and the National Museum of Korea is also in Seoul. And I think it is one of the biggest big five, I think. It's very huge buildings, and we collect a lot of things. And at that time, I worked at the Asian department. So we collected the Chinese and Japanese and East Asian and Indian artifacts. But nowadays it changed into the world, I can say world cultural department or something like that. So we had the Egyptian galleries, and nowadays Mesopotamian galleries and Greek and Roman galleries. Also, it is not its own collections, but they borrow the whole collections from the other museums in Europe or United States, like Metropolitan Museum. Metropolitan Museum in New York. So I think it showed that the Korean museum's power is much stronger than 10 years or 20 years here. And one of the things is that they have a very big hierarchy, the director and the other, the decision makers. So just one curators can, they also have to work a lot, but in university museums, we can decide with your director, but our director is very open. Then he wants to make something new every year. So we can make some ideas, then, oh, it's good, then we can do it. It is not a lot of budget, but I think it is more very good point that at university museums, we can build everything in the museum and outside the museums, and the decision making is quite open. But the National Museum of Korea, it affects a lot of from the government, the politics, and other things. So it is one of the different, and I think it is the good thing that I work in as university museums, and I can do a lot of things. But the difficult thing is also the budget and the human resources, and also we don't have much, the expert like the exhibition designer or communicator or educator or other things. So we have to do it with all our team. I think with this experience, we can learn a lot. But sometimes, I need some more expert about the exhibition design, and or making some contents, online contents. Then it is, another job, another expert area. But these days, the Korea, we have to do a lot of things. We are producers, we are announcers, we are designers. So I think it is quite difficult, but I'm studying architect, architecture. So I think sometimes it helps a bit.
Yeah. Thank you, Nayoung.
You asked about the most
unforgettable experience.
It was that I visited China and the Xinjiang Uyghur area, and I visited some, very important grottos and near the Urumqi and things, and Dunhuang. And I visited there as just a travel with my family. But at the time, I just visited just a few outside and important grottos. But as the staff of the staff of the National Museum of Korea, and we can meet the very powerful person in China, and we can visit every the closed door and visit the grottos, and I was working at some collections, the botanic collections in National Museum of Korea. It is another big problem. Not problem, it is a big collection. So I can handle and make some report about the collections. And it was very worth and important memory and experience at the time.
Okay, thank you, Nayoung, and glad to know that you like to be here in the University Museum community, and you have some experienced, the advantages in university museums. And yes, sometimes the big renovation, the creation, just come from some small parts, or from we have to stay outside of the comfort zone, and we do some different things compared with the past. So that makes the creation happen. Yes, and glad to know that you have visited many places in China, and you can you have experienced the culture here in China, and as you mentioned, China, Japan, Korea, and many other places in Asia, you can see the culture, transformation or something like that from the objects or the connection, and you can also find the connection from different culture. Okay, thank you, Nayoung. And let's just move to the third question. What about your research? What is your research field in maybe in the next years?
Well, next year we have another project. I want to make some educational program for the university students. So I learned a lot from the object-based learning program at the Chancery Museums. And
they did very well.
And also your university also have some problems, some courses for the university students. So I think we also have some the University Museum introduction program for the freshmen, and also we have the internship program and other workshops or some programs. But I think we have to more connected with the courses, each department. So I want to study and the programs with some department and professors who are interested with it next year. And also we have to make a renovation for the OBL studio. So we suddenly got some funding from the government. So maybe next month we change it. So I'm trying to make some the exhibition and education and some rounds, the mixed, space for students. So yeah, and after that, then I can introduce our challenge to the UMAC or any other.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
yeah. So I check your university programs again deeply.
Okay, thank you, thank you. We just have some. We just attracted some courses, discipline courses, integrated circuit or communication, something like that, to the museum, to the exhibition hall, and also to the storage. And we opened the storage for the professors and worked with us, and we can give the students some courses with object-based learning or teaching. Yes, and I think because you will have a renovation of your exhibition, right? Maybe you can invite some students with you, because every university museum we are lack of human resources, right? We work just with several colleagues, so the students will be the best partner of us. Maybe you can invite them. This is another interesting project for you to curate with the students. Maybe it's just the idea I just find out. Okay. The last question is it's like a relay question. It's from the last speaker I interviewed, Prismic Datas from University of Warsaw in Poland, because we met a colleague in, I think he was in Sydney, Hubert. Yes, Hubert, the tall guy. Yes.
Yeah, it's the director.
Director of
right?
their of this university museum, the University of Warsaw. And Hubert, they did very well in collect in the donation. He presented a story of a big donation, and the donation changed their situation of their university museum to increase human resources, to increase fundings, and they have more spaces. Okay, and last month we interviewed one of his colleague, Prismic, and he gave us a relay question. I will tell you. I am extremely curious in the way our next speaker and his or her museum chases the public. He meant how you chases the public, the audience, how you deal with the audience, and what tools they used to chase the public, and what new tools they are going to introduce to chase them, and the educational one, for instance, the promotional one. That is his question. How to attract the audience, how to deal with the audience. Yeah.
I'm very shocked, and because that's the question I want to ask to my next speaker. So I think maybe, yeah, it is very common, the question and the issue for the university museums, I think, because this year we have a very interesting and good programs for the not just for the university members, but the other people from the community and other things. But
general public,
but it is very difficult to attract them to come to the museum, join our program. So every time we say, how do we collect? How do we make them come? And these days, university museums, not only university museums, but also there are a lot of the public and private museums in Seoul, especially. Seoul is the big city, so it in just another city, there is just a few museums, and in that situation, university museums can very powerful educational institution there. So some own museum, they connected with all the kindergarten. So many kindergarten, the students, they visited the museum. So they focused on the program for the very young audience. And I think it is very good. And well, for us, for our museums, we are thinking about how to make it to more attractive, and and the PR is cost quite a lot of money, you know. But as a university museum, we don't have much budget, so I think it is the people, the persons who are interested in our museum, and then he talk about with his friends or his social network, his or her social network, and then the Hanyang University has a very good exhibition museum, so they also let other people know about our museums. And these days, using the social network, and some people who are very many other friends, Instagram or Facebook. And if he posted our program, then it quite works. It is quite powerful. So we try to make them we invite them as the speaker or some participants for our program. Then they promote our program, so the other people let know our museum's program. But it is not enough. We always think, how we know this attractive people, and so
yeah.
yeah.
As you said, it's always a key issue for every museum, and I think some of the general museum, like the National Museum of Korea, or such as Paris Museum in China, and the National Museum in China, they did very well, and they located at the best places, and they have the fame, all the visitors, all the audience are, yes, that's a national museum, we have to go there. Yeah, that is, of course, it's their advantages. And for university museum, for me, I think it's like how we think the position of the university museum at the local level, local dimension. It's because most of the audiences are from the local city or the local community for us. And of course, some visitors are from the outside, from other university, from other schools, primary school or something like that. But most of the targeted audience are the local people. So I think there's a conception that we can learn the ecology. We can just regard it, the whole community or the local community, as an ecology, and to think about how our museum play the fit role in this ecology system. Yes, sometimes we have to play the most important role, but sometimes we have to play just the normal role in the ecosystem. So it's just my conception, but yes, it's also challenging for us. And but I think we have the natural advantages, that we have a connection of electronics. We have the connection of the thing everybody is using. So I think it's an interesting topic for a long time in the next 10 years or 20 years. Yeah. So what's your question for the next speaker?
Well, because I think that's
to think about a new one.
Yeah, big problems. So then I want to ask about the last month, on the October, I participated the CIMUSAT the annual conference at the National Aviation Museum in Korea, and it was fantastic. And so I learned a lot from the UMAC at Sydney and also the CIMOSAT. So have you ever been to CIMOSAT, the conference, the Science Technology Museums in ICOM, you know?
Oh, not yet. I've never been to that that kind of conference. Yes.
Yeah, and maybe next time you
Yeah, maybe.
you can join it, because there are many the scientific and electronical and communication museums, and this year they focused on the the how to improve the accessibility in the museum.
Yeah, that's the
the
question.
inclusiveness and accessibility is the very important issue in museums nowadays. So not just focused on some disabled, some blind, or some other handicapped person, but the accessibility is just for all the people, for all the various people. But so nowadays in National Museum of Korea, they have a very special exhibition hall. So when you go there, you have to make a reservation, and you have to wear a very special glasses, so you can see, but you can touch and smell and something like that. So this very good experience and good attempt, but not just for that kind of very specific effort, because I think it is possible for this National Museum of Korea, and there are a lot of budget, but just as a university museums level, how can we improve the accessibility for the audience, not audience, but for the university campus and also the community? So I want to ask the next speaker.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Nayoung. Thank you. And yes, that's also the project we have to put a lot human resources, put a lot of budget into. Okay, and that's also the because we are in the in this field, in the electronics and the science and the technology field, so we have to care more about that. Yes. Okay. And so we have finished all the questions, and you have proposed interesting question to the next speaker. It's very nice and wonderful talk with you, Nayoung, and that's all from us today. And many thanks to our audience, and we will have more opportunities to work together, and see you next time.
Okay, thank you for this invitation and great project for the UMAC Imagination, and thank you, and see you next time.
Okay, thank you, Nayoung.